My name is Ian Griffiths and I play the accordion in the Tequila Mockingbird Orchestra. We're based out of Victoria, BC. It's good. There's a lot of students in Victoria and we've got a really solid following of very caring fans who come out no matter really what we do. There is a lot of good music coming out of Victoria. We played a festival in northern BC called Artswells, which is a really good festival, and it seemed like half the lineup was from Victoria, or people originally from Victoria, or people who met in Victoria. I think the scene is super good there because there's a lot of students, a lot of young people, and people just come there and meet and then start bands, even if they're from other places. Like, none of us are originally from Victoria. Myself and the guitar player, we grew up in, both of us in Alberta, in different small towns in Alberta, and then the fiddle player, he grew up just outside of Victoria in Sydney. Bassist's from Vancouver, and our percussion player, he's from Cortes Island. We've been a band now for, not that long, coming up on 4 years. 3.5 years was this configuration. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We went down through the States at the very start of the tour, down Seattle, Portland, Eugene, and then crisscross BC and Alberta, playing festivals and house concerts and weddings and bars and theaters and just like everything you can think of. No, we toured through Europe 2 years ago, through Austria, Germany, Italy, France, and Spain for 4 months, and then last year we did a cross Canada tour and a little bit through the States. So this is really our third major tour. I lived in Spain for 2 years, and I studied flamenco guitar in Spain, and I got really, really heavily into gypsy music. Flamenco specifically, and also like Eastern European gypsy music, Goran Brejovic and Taraf Tahaluks, like a lot of like Serbian and Romanian gypsy music. And I actually went to Romania last year in the fall and spent a bunch of time working on farms in Romania and like hanging out with gypsies there and playing music, and that was really probably the most influential. That and playing punk rock bands as in high school. You know, playing like a punk metal band in high school, playing the drums and screaming my face off. Yeah, gypsy music and punk. So like, when I was 14, I started a band with just like neighborhood kids, and like we just go in the basement all summer and scream and play really loud. We're called RSB. It stood for Reincarnated Subliminally Buddhist. And then then we changed the name eventually to Beating the Odds. But it was good 4-chord punk rock. Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the songs we played tonight, actually the slowest song that we played tonight, kind of like the slow, almost ballady one that we played tonight, I actually wrote originally as a punk rock tune. I really wanted it to be like fast, kind of like gypsy punk. And then I brought it to the band and we were just jamming around with it one day, and we ended up playing it like half speed, almost as a joke. And then everybody ended up really liking it at half speed, and now it's just like, it's a slow song. It was the slowest song we played tonight. But what I really wanted it to be like punk rock song. Of late, there's this awesome folk punk band called Blackbird Rom from California. They do, it's basically like old school punk rock, but the instrumentation is banjo, mandolin, washtub bass, and like washboard. But it's amazing. They're like probably my favorite punk band these days. And the obvious suspects, you know, like Golden Bordello, obviously, and like that kind of gypsy punk. And like I still got a soft spot for AFI. It's because like I grew up with AFI, you know, like the good old AFI, like Black Sails to the Sunset, and like old AFIs. Interaction, you know, it's like I don't mean interaction as in like banter, like witty banter to the crowd, but I mean like actually like feeling what they want, you know, like sometimes, like I feel like before, sometimes as a band, we've come up and like just went blah, and just kind of like spit out a whole bunch of energy, you know, and like really wanted people to dig it and really wanted them to just get there with us immediately. But like, see ya. Thanks, man. But like the important way to do it is to really like feel what the crowd wants from the start and eventually take them where you want them to go. Or sometimes it goes immediately, but really just like that interaction with the crowd. You know, like starting wherever the crowd is at that point and then working somewhere. Like we started this set like super slow, like drawn out chords, just like feeling the room, testing out the system, and then eventually brought it to like a pinnacle of something that people really like were dancing and digging. I feel like if you go up there immediately and like just give her as hard as you can. Sometimes it works, and sometimes the crowd is just like, whoa. And I think that's what sets it apart from like putting on a CD. Yeah, that's the lead top hat, our new van. It's a GMC Savannah. It's our first van that goes highway speeds.
Oh, really?
Last year we toured in my, I had a short bus, like a handy dart-sized short bus that I lived in. Put hardwood floor in it and like a wood-burning stove, and I had an acoustic piano in there all winter, and I lived on the streets in Victoria in it. And then we all piled in it and toured across the country and seized the engine at the very top of the Coquihalla, which is like this very famous large mountain pass in British Columbia. The thing died, so it's in Logan Lake now. It's like sitting in Logan Lake. The love. It sounds cheesy, but really it's because we love each other tremendously. Like, we do long tours. Like, we were in Europe together for 4 months, and sometimes we couldn't eat, you know? Sometimes, like, we were playing on the street for enough money to, like, have coffee so that we were, like, caffeinated enough to not kill each other. And, like, just having, like, that strong interpersonal relationship with everybody in the band, so that, like, we just know each other well enough that I can hang out with these guys in a tiny van, driving 50 hours across the country, and, like, just be in each other's presence 24/7 and not get angry. Still love and enjoy everybody's company. Communicate with each other. Like, there's so many good musicians and there's so many creative people, but there's not that many people that can get along. Like, most bands die not because they suck, but because people hate each other at the end. Because, like, they don't communicate. They'll, like, get pissed off about one thing and then not say it, and then, like, there'll be this big explosion. That, or they sleep with each other. That's one. Never sleep with, never. Like, whether you're straight or gay or like whatever, just don't sleep with band members. Just like, we have this rule, like, when we got our manager's a woman. And like, before we hired our manager, we like actually put together a rule. We're like, nobody can, like, if you're gonna get involved with the manager, you have to marry her. Because there's no way with it. Like, the worst case scenario is that, like, you sleep with somebody in the band and then they break up, and then, like, there's this tension all the time. It's just like, it destroys bands. So yeah, the one piece of advice is just like, be in a band with your buddies, people you love, and communicate. Talk it out. I realized that, like, I didn't know how to communicate before I was in a band. Like, I love my parents, I love my family to death, but like, we didn't talk. We didn't talk about our emotions and shit. Like, but you need to do that all the time in a band. Yeah, come out and check out our live show. If you play music, keep playing music. We're important. Musicians, it doesn't matter, like, that we don't get paid and that we end up in debt and that sometimes our parents think we're not doing the right thing. We totally are doing the right thing. Like, the amount of people that I met on the tour have just said, thank you, like, you made my night, or like, I put on the CD and like, it helps me in some little way. We're as important as any other profession. Like, don't let the being poor deter you. Well, we've looked at it pretty practically, and as money is a necessity for us to move. Like, it's hard to make money at this completely, but the small amount of money that we do make gets funneled right back into the business, and that has allowed us to go further and farther than I think it would have been had we organized the business in a different way. I mean, we arrived in Europe with no money at all, and busked on the street and played shows and got enough money to just perpetuate the lifestyle. So at this point, everything that we've done over the last 4 years has really been like building and setting down roots and not making any money. And kind of the trick that we've found that works to continue doing what we're doing has been to really not get paid at all. Just funnel it all right back into the machine, and like, every year we make more money. And eventually we're going to hit this tipping point where it's like, we don't need to funnel it all back in, and we're going to be able to live completely off it. Because right now it's only 4 months of the year that we live 100% off the band. The rest of the time we have to work jobs. I teach accordion and Spanish and flamenco guitar and gig here and there. I'm also working on a kids project called Greenbeard the Enviro Pirate, where I dress up like a pirate and sing environmentally themed kid songs at like daycares and elementary schools and after school cares and stuff. At a few festivals, which is going well as well.
That's awesome.
My name is Ian Griffiths, and I play the accordion in the Tequila Mockingbird Orchestra.